do it again. You distracted me. All right. Welcome to the Anatomy Hunter podcast. We have a special one for you today. We have the Johnsons. We have Brian Johnson, the Anatomy Hunter. We have his son, Jason, and his other son, Jacob. And we're going to talk about the hunt that took place in Canada this past spring. And Jacob, Jason, take it away.
All right. So, how's it feel sitting here now? You've had some months to reflect.
That's right.
You know, after you took down the beast.
Took down the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you feel looking back, reflecting on it now?
Tired, but good.
Tired but good. Are you still stressed about making the shot?
No, I'm stressed about the next hunt. But that's
The next
what it's
hunt?
about, yeah.
Can't you be humble with like what you just got a few months ago?
Yeah. No, I'm still shaking in my boots, but it's okay.
I'm glad you took the shot. I would have been shaking too.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No, so we had been talking. Dad here had been planning this hunt. Asked me to go. Then Skip called me up, said, "Hey, you want to go up?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." You'd been showing me video footage of the bear at this particular site, so that was pretty cool. We actually got to see it in advance. Jumping through it, basically went up. It was a one-day, one-hit wonder sort of thing. Bear came in and we got a nice clean shot. But what I wanted to do to go through it, because there's a video you can watch about showing the bear, showing the shot. The thing that you can't see on camera is what happened that was so weird.
I got you.
Oh, you got that? Okay. So, all right. So what I wanted to show is like just the layout of where the bear was, where we were. So the road is like somewhere around there. That's our road. Nice. Yeah, look at that. Nice and bumpy as I remember.
Maybe we can put a nice little tree over here.
Yeah. Little Bob Ross.
Add a little something to it.
So we go in, we got our little, stand there. And so we were there for, 6 hours, something like that?
My memory is I'm getting old.
It was a while. We got in about 3:30 and...
I was enjoying it so much being with you, Jay. Time just flew.
Yeah, and I'm really jumping right to this, but... So we were there, and first time around, I didn't see him, but you did.
That's right, I did.
And the bear
I did.
is like here. There he is. So Brian, Dad is like, hey, look, and I'm here, and Dad is here. So the bear starts going around, and our food plot is about there, about 15 yards out. He goes there, he sniffs us, and then he goes all the way like this. So we thought he's gone. What doesn't make sense is he's supposed to be there, and about 20 minutes later, my dad goes, look, and he's there again. He went all the way around one way or the other.
Now let me correct
Take your mark.
Let me correct you, son. When we first saw him, I haven't been drinking. I really haven't. He was here. And I knew this blind, and this is the deal on hunting. This was like not a cedar swamp, but it was a cedar low spot. We were up high. Evening, the scent's going to pool down where he's going to come from. And I knew it's a cool place, but it's just not, we're going to have problems with him. So he came like this, coming. There's a trail that comes right to our food plot.
It's like a little...
Called the bait site. So he was coming, hit that trail and come there. Bam! He stopped. He caught us. He goes, I want to come there. But in my mind, Jay, he just kept right going.
He came up on part of that trail, because the trail goes like that. He came down, and there's a walkway over here. He came up the way that the second time he came back, he came right back through that area.
Well, but then, okay, well, he went there and he went away. And here's the thing about what a great hunter that I am to brag. Jason said, do you think he'll come back? And I said, no. Because once he centered us, he boogied, he's not going to come back. So it's over. But I was wrong.
Well, remember he was out here.
Well, all I know is he took off, we didn't see him. But then our tree stands here, the car's here. When he came, where we saw him, he was right to our left here.
Yep.
I looked, and all I could see basically was his butt, and he was going this way. And then he cut down,
Yep, in the
Get
valley.
that trail, and then the trail that comes to the food plot here. we got about 3 foot by 3 foot food plot with logs and
Hey, it may be small, but that's
Hey,
a really good
hey,
food
a
plot.
Watch the video. There's some good footage of him too.
And then when he turned, and when he came up here, to me, what I saw, Jay, is he didn't step. He was just like on a machine, and he just moved so slow, and he looked at us nonstop. He would not take his eye off us.
And it took about 10 minutes for him to go what, 5-10
You know,
yards.
time goes slow when you're being looked at. It seems like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Because we could not breathe. We could not move. The camera was here. I couldn't even move to adjust the camera. I got it on the bait site and let it go.
And the question we were talking about earlier, or you were bringing up earlier, is what if he was broadside or if he was quartering away? And what I was trying to remember is if he comes up here, and I think he goes this way, just a little bit.
He
Right?
turned. I watched the video so many times. He turned to go to the bait, like you said.
Yep.
Then he turned the other way. He was wanting to come to the bait. He was literally licking his lips. But then he's wanting to. He has a bore of 2 minds.
So what you're saying is he was doing this. No, I'm just kidding. No, he did go
In
back
his mind,
and forth.
he was going back
Yeah.
and forth in his mind. But I could not believe how
His stomach
Yeah.
wanted to come in, but his
His
mind
stomach
was
did.
telling
Yeah.
him, don't.
But he hasn't been. The catch that I'd had is
Yeah.
this area hadn't been hunted like 7 years.
Yeah,
So that bear, say he was 7 years old.
he didn't know any better.
Yeah. So is that going to make him more leery, or is that going to make him less leery? That's a question I have had. And
I'd say less leery.
you think less leery?
He's got less experience.
I don't know, because here's my thought on that. I don't know. When we had a hard time hunting up there. We had areas that hadn't been hunted. You think we'd have bears all over the place. It turns out when the bears are raised, when they grow up, there's these bait fields, these food plots,
They get
and they go
conditioned. They
they
get
go to them
conditioned.
every year
Yeah.
as they grow there. With this guy, these older ones, they hadn't had it.
Yep.
So I don't know if they get conditioned and then they get used to people that's there, or I've had one year where they know they'll swing around downwind of the bait. Then they catch the smarter ones and then they're gone. You don't even see them. We had that 1 year with one that happened.
So we don't know how he went from there to there.
No, we don't know, because it was from him to get there. He had to go a long ways away.
And if anything, it seemed like since he was over there, he would have swooped there, but we don't
He
know.
wouldn't- I don't think he would have went to the road. I think he would have went
Oh,
deeper.
cut back.
And when we saw him, Jay, he was walking away from us. So I wonder how close he got to us that we didn't even know it.
Why was
might
he
have been
walking
under your
away?
stand. He
What's
might have
that?
been under your stand. He might have.
Well, I looked and he's walking away over there.
You know, and
I don't know.
to tackle on this about the discussion with bear, if the bear was leery, more so or less, since it's a new area for us, is what I wonder is the fact that it was just a bear by himself coming in this bait,
Yeah.
because he was cautious. You look at where Bernie was at, and he had a number of bears, and they stuck around better. They didn't seem as leery. Is that because there were more bears in the area
I don't know.
that kept them, that it's competition for the food? Or the fact they happened to hit that bait just days earlier? That's what I wonder. Like, does it help if there's more than just one bear on the bait to calm them?
It's a good question.
That's a good question.
Good question.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be curious about.
Unfortunately, we're not know-it-all, so we could say good question, not give an answer because we don't know.
Yeah. It's anybody's
But
guess.
anyway, so what happened, Jay? When he came up,
So-
and how do you see it? Well,
So he came up, turned a little, turned back there, and in my video, it was a little nerve-wracking.
now we had 2 videos. Now you had a crossbow.
I had a
and
crossbow.
camera on it.
Yep.
I had our good expensive camera.
Yep.
But I had the settings set on it all wrong, so they both were way too dark for what they should have been.
Yeah. But we did get a kill shot.
Yes, we did.
So comes up, he was looking directly at us.
Non-stop with his eyes. You could see all of his
Non-stop.
eyes. Super nervous, super tense.
Yep.
Tense.
Super tense.
Now, one thing you haven't said yet that you told me, you were getting so, what's the word, not fed up, wanting to shoot him so bad,
Yep.
you were wanting to shoot him in the
Yep.
chest.
I was.
You're desperate. I want to shoot him.
Yeah.
He's right there. I can shoot him.
It was one of those, like, it felt like now or never, but I waited.
You've
He
got a
said,
father.
"Wait."
You've got a father for a reason, son.
Yeah.
See that, Jacob? You should learn from that, son.
Yeah.
No, so we did wait because he's walking right at us, and I'm thinking with a crossbow, maybe you could do a front on, but apparently that's difficult. And they have a smaller cavity, as we learned earlier.
No frontal shots. You anatomy hunter said no frontal shots.
No frontal shots. Yeah, cannot recommend.
The anatomy
So-
hunter has spoken. No
Yeah.
frontal shots.
That's right. You hear that, kids? No frontal shots. Okay. So, help me. Was he going? When I shot him, I can't remember if he
Well,
was
he
going
went
this
to
way.
come to the
If
bait
he
there
was-
like he was going to take it right there, and then he
Yeah.
pulled back over here, and then I mean he was.
Well, which direction was he going? Was he going?
He
to
actually
the
had
left?
cut to the left when
Okay.
he shot. And when you cut to the left, if
He
you
was
would,
pacing back
he
and
was
forth.
gonna, he would have been gone. He would have
Yep.
turned around and been gone. That was
Yep.
it.
So what happened there was he goes to turn. He comes in, goes that way, starts turning this way, and when he turns, I do think it's not straight broadside. I think he instead of going like this straight broadside, he goes just a little bit. What you say?
Joe,
A little bit?
Joe said he was quartering on. We'll have to watch it again. But I thought he was pretty broadside.
Yep.
So
So
I obviously was wrong.
I'm on the left, so I take the shot. He runs.
Yeah, you're on the left, so your arrow should have went more quartering away as opposed to quartering on from my view.
And I think we're 10 feet up, 15 yards out. So not a long shot. One thing
I
too.
think it was actually 20s what I'm thinking it really was. I'm thinking.
Yeah, and we're like I was fortunate because he didn't quite come into the bait. He got close, but it was so tight trying to shoot down in there. We're fortunate he was where he was.
Because it would have been, if he's closer, it would have been harder
Yeah,
for you.
I would have almost had to stand up
Yeah.
to get down because it was really, really tight. See, he ends
Which
up.
brings up a question to ask Daryl.
Yep.
Would a guy, we had a railing on a 2-man tree stand, and of course, because we're getting ready to go to Canada,
Yeah.
this other place, and I'm going to buy some tree stands from these people that are going to help me up. It's legal, because these are not the outfitters, but they're getting permission. So to kind of pay them, I'm going to try to buy some tree stands, send them up, and we got to film. So if I could buy 2-man tree stands up there, and you're using a crossbow, and you got the railing in front to rest it on, but now you got a fulcrum that it also limits you. It's not set just so you're better off to say forget it and freehand it.
No, I always like to have.
You do want something.
So what I did with John Crook's daughter when we hunted, we had that same situation. We took in 2 boat cushions, and I had her sit up on a boat cushion, which got her up higher.
Wow,
on the rail.
So we did one. We should
So
have done
you want to
two.
use the rail. You just want to
But
position.
it's
your body
just always
for it.
good when you're shooting anything to have a solid rest. You know, I mean, it's just even if you're waiting for a while, it's nice to be able to rest the crossbow on something rather than hold it all the time. So I mean, it's just.
And they don't make a shooting stick just for crossbows that you could.
Oh, there's things you can buy.
But I mean, not made directly for a crossbow to. And
Well,
a tree
no,
stand.
when Kristen shot her bear, we used a thing called the death grip pod, where it sandwiched onto the.
Yeah.
And we actually had it in position, and as soon as the bear came to the site, she didn't have to hold the bow or nothing. She just got into the stick.
I think I got something like that, but that's for on the ground.
On the ground, but you.
Tree stands, you got.
Yeah, but you can always fabricate something or make something work.
Because we got to figure out how we're going to do that this next spring.
Sure.
Jacob, if you go.
Well, the thing is practice with it. You know, put it up in your backyard, and so you're not getting up
Well,
there.
see, Jason
But
came up
that's,
in there.
uh,
You know, the whole time we came into the bait, just to
Sure.
tell you the non-professionalism. We got in there. Jason didn't have a chance to practice
Sure.
to know. We didn't know. Jacob set the camera up there because we're running baits. We were scared. The truth is, when we went up there, we had one tree stand that had bears coming to it. The other one that did Bernie had.
Yeah.
So that was gone. So we had one. These 2 guys are coming up there, and we got no bears coming in. And so Jacob and I are panicking. What are we going to do? Daryl's coming all the way up there. Jason's taking off. What are we going to do? So Jacob and I went crazy, and we just went driving down the road, taking buckets and going in there and just putting bait up to try to get
Yep.
some hits to find out something.
Yep. And we actually, it paid off because we did end up getting. Now they weren't great sized bears or nothing, but we were starting to get other bears to come into baits and stuff. So I mean, us doing that, spending that whole
We needed
day.
to do it.
Yep, because we were thinking about possibly checking out a bait again or whatever, but sure enough, we took that
Now,
time.
if we go back, if we do this next spring again, Daryl, this is my thought. If Jacob and I go up there and we do that for you, however, if that works out. Here's my logic. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. You squirt and put all the scent all over with the oil and the secret sauce that Bernie says is a great thing to draw them in. But for a bear to come in there just to see if they're hitting the bait to put a camera up, to see then if it's worthy to put a tree stand up, right?
Yep.
I don't know why you need any more than a gallon of bait, because he's gonna smell it to come in. If you cover it all up, it takes a bear to get it out. He's gonna open it up, you're gonna get him on film, you're gonna get him. And then we could take, in other words, if we could take 5 1 gallon, a bucket, and make 5 baits out of 5 gallons versus 5 gallons at 1 bait, and go through it. That's my 2 cents. Why do you need more than a gallon? To just find out if a bear's there or not?
On initial hit, you know.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
And then is it a big enough bear that you wanna keep it going?
Yeah.
What you want.
And do they expect, when they come there, there's gotta be a lot of food, or is it
No, I
okay to
don't
give them
think
a
so,
little bit?
no. That's my question.
Well, especially in the spring, a lot of times their bellies are so normalizing
Oh.
too from being in hibernation, so they don't have a huge appetite. They usually start by eating greens and kind
Yeah.
of, you know, they gently go into the eating. They're not getting out of their hibernation and just say, hey, let's go eat some gummy bears. You know, they're kind of just picking and choosing what they're eating. But that's a perfect example. Just make sure you're getting hit and then pour it on. You know.
Especially if you get just those little dinky bears or sow with
Yeah.
2 cubs.
But the thing, you don't want to throw those away either, because as your site gets hit, you know, they're gonna lay down scent trails that other bears are gonna come across it, and they're gonna find the bait. So, you know, the main thing is just try to get a bait being hit where there's enough time for other bears to find it too, because like, I think you shot that really nice bear because I think there was a hierarchy of that bait site where the biggest bear claims it as his own, and he chases off the other bears. So I mean, I think that was somewhat, you know, especially if there's a sow and a cub, more so in the fall where you don't want those the sows and the cubs. If there's a big boar coming, a lot of times they'll vacate a bait site just because they don't want the competition or the possibility of their little cubs being eaten by the bigger boars.
So you think Jason only had 1 bear coming in there and
But
maybe notching there? You think there could have been other ones?
I
trying to
think there
chase them
probably was in the beginning. He had more bears, and then that one that he claimed it as his own became, you know, that.
I
bear
wonder
site.
what would have happened. It would have been neat to go up there 2 weeks later, up to camera there, to see how long it would have taken if
Sure.
another bear would have come right
Sure.
away. Jacob and I, we fell in love with doing the baiting, the roads, driving up
It's
the
just
roads,
fun.
seeing the moose.
Yeah.
We
Well,
had
yeah.
a blast doing it.
Well, like from what you had told me, you made it sound as, you know, which it was along, I mean, we're talking 65 kilometers one way on back roads.
That's
And then,
off the blacktop.
yeah, just gravel roads. So this isn't something where you can drive 50 miles an hour. You're talking 15, yeah, anywhere from 15 to 30 miles per hour tops. So it drags, but
Daryl 15, Bernie 30.
But I will say though, I think what made it a highlight for everybody here though when we went on that trip was, for one, we had just great scenery, so many lakes to choose from if you want to canoe or kayak for secret little
Yeah.
fishing spots. But the other thing was, I'd gone to Canada for years and I'd only seen maybe 2 or 3 moose max in my lifetime.
And they were all in the distance too.
Yeah, and that trip alone this past spring,
Well, Bernie hit one.
Bernie hit
No, one Bernie. He hit Bernie.
Yeah, the moose hit Bernie, and then the amount, I think I tallied the amount of moose I got to see. I think it was anywhere from 8 to 10 moose, and I got to see a couple bulls in the mix, mainly cow and some mature calves. But overall, it was, I mean, you know, I don't know how to describe when you see, because Clem Lake.
Lots of grouse.
Oh man, I would go up there. I think the grouse hunting there is a gold mine. There are so many grouse, and Daryl and I one night it was almost driving us nuts.
That's all you heard the whole night.
It was kind of like that.
Listening to it.
That grouse was like if you go to that little kid that's just yelling and you're telling it to shut up or be quiet, and it goes and does it back to you just because you told it to stop. And that grouse is what we were feeling.
He was so close we couldn't see him, but you could actually like hear his inhaling to start his.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
It's
Now
pretty
the
cool.
other thing, so we don't forget on the bait you guys were at, Daryl came up there a day late, according to plans, and I had to put that in there.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then, so we had
Nice.
a bear hit the bait, but we didn't have a camera on it, or it didn't show it, whatever it was.
We didn't have a camera.
We didn't have a camera,
We didn't
Yep.
have a camera.
but we saw that it was hit. But the bears up there just don't eat it. There's a barrel. There's some taken out of there, but there's plenty there.
Right.
But that's just the way they kind of.
Well,
Nibble.
I think what hurt us is we boogered the bear on the walk in.
Well, Jason and I both heard
Yeah.
you guys are putting the tree stand up.
A
We
hoof.
both, whew,
Yeah.
we both heard that.
Yeah.
Somebody was upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't come back.
Yeah, he didn't. He did, and then you got to finally hunt the great stand where Bernie was at.
Well, we had horrible weather. I mean, we had 3 days. The first day when Jason killed, that was the very best day, and then the next day when Jacob and I sat, we had torrential rain. I mean, torrential.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Not sprinkle?
no, it was
Big
like
raindrops?
it was like Hurricane.
Oh,
Jacob.
man.
Squirrels were
Hurricane
sitting
Jacob,
on
yeah.
little like acorn boats.
you know what's funny too? Me and Daryl both, after that second night out, after we got in the truck and stuff, both of us actually wanted to get out, but none of us had the heart to. Who wants to?
No one was going to cave first.
Yeah, we didn't want to
Right.
cave, but I remember. Oh, that knocked me out though for the next day. I mean, it was.
Well, then the next day I went with Jason, and we got
It was even colder.
we got like 3-4 inches of snow. Well, I mean,
I gotta
it
tell you, those
sprinkles.
photos are beautiful though. I
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
look at all the white on the Bernie's
They're
big
really
hair
pretty.
like that.
But I
in
was-
almost June.
Yeah, but I wasn't dressed appropriately, so I mean, I got looking at Jason. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to make it to dark, you know. So I had to go back to the
But you
truck
did.
and warm up. I went back to the truck and warmed up for like 15 minutes, and I came back in.
We went from 60, 70 degree weather down to 30 degree weather in
and
3
snow.
days.
Yeah, heavy snow.
And they thought they weren't moving because of the warmth, and here it's coming in.
Yep.
They're gonna be there. Jacob and I were all
Oh,
ready. got a
we're
bear for
thinking
sure.
this has to bring them in.
We just stayed a mile down the road waiting for dark. It's about an hour drive for us to
Oh.
come there to wait. So we came in there. You guys said you didn't see nothing. I thought they're just kidding you. So I didn't believe you. I went right to the bait to look for the blood.
yeah,
The snow. And it's like there's snow here.
yeah,
There's no blood. There's no tracks. What? You guys telling the truth?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I really had high hopes because that temperature dropped, the snow, and I really would have loved to have seen a black bear
They
come
went
into
back
the
to
snow.
hibernating. They went back to hibernating.
Yeah.
They're like,
That's-
we're
They
done.
said we left too early.
Snow just about in June. I mean, so
Yeah,
I,
it was incredible.
And that was you and I actually on that trip in too. I think we saw like 5 moose on that one way in too. We saw a number of them in there in the otters. So
we get in close. You come right up on top.
We
of us.
all
Pretty
4
neat.
saw
It was sweet.
one, the one in the ditch
yep.
hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really neat. Well, let's get to Jay's.
So-
About when you shot, you were done with that because I want to talk about the arrow. What
Last
actually happened.
bit,
I'll show you guys.
since I brought this out. Okay, so I shot him as he was looking this, not like this. He was going back a little
You really
bit.
think he was angled like that, huh?
Well,
It's
it
his
seems
story.
that way.
Really?
So I shot him, and the evidence from the kill looks that way, right?
Now wait a minute. This is his butt here?
No, that's his head.
No, you shot him. He had turned to his right.
Okay.
His head was on the right side.
I'm trying to
So let's see.
understand what you're
So-
drawing there.
So he comes down, and you're saying he went like,
Let's say that's broadside. And you're
Okay.
yep, and his head's to the right here.
okay,
Okay.
it's his head.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Now what was his body position? Because he went and turned, and I think I said shoot now.
You did. Yep. So he said shoot, and it was right after he turned. It was like the opening was there. He turned, and we shot, and he might have had some inner body movement where
Well,
his
he
feet were
might.
planted.
You probably shot him as he was moving.
Yeah. I mean, it was like right after. It felt like a key in a lock. So it shot him, and then he ended up running back through the trail he came on, and he ran into like a bog or whatever,
That's marshy. Yeah.
marshy.
Yeah.
Ran there. He ran 20 yards, I want to say.
40.
40. Thank you. He ran 40 yards, and then we heard the death moan, which is wonderful and terrible.
Yeah, it's a Jurassic Park type sound.
It's a weird feeling. Yep.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And then we hooked up with these guys. We went back in. I had the audacity to think maybe I could carry this guy because I originally thought this is a normal sized bear. Went down there and there was no way. It took 4 of us to pull him out, and we field dressed him at 240. So you can actually see footage of it in the other video we have made.
Well, he's actually 240, not field dress.
Oh, not field dressed.
Yeah, live weight.
Say field dressed.
Live weight 240 in the spring, and about 2 outfitters said that they gained 30%. I don't know if that's true. So 30%, 3 times 24, that's almost 75.
So my quick recap, it was incredible because I expected this to go from Monday night to Thursday night, that we would go after one bear, and got it the first night. That
I was afraid.
truly incredible.
When you go in, when you have a bear that's there, you go in and set up, and you make the kill the first night, because if he did send you,
He's not coming
and
back.
he's going to come
Yeah.
back to see if sent you, then he's gonna come back and send you, and you never even know he was there.
Well, and after that first spook, we
I'm
thought
gonna show-
that's it.
Okay, now, here's something you guys have not seen. This is a little surprise for the party.
Hey.
By Anatomy Hunter. Now, when Jason shot this, if you go in the video and you watch his video of where he shot the bear, he used a swacker, and we used, it's just a 3-inch broadhead. The reason we use this is we wanted the biggest one possible because we're gonna shoot towards the middle of the middle, Jeff. And then the middle of the middle, you could have a chance of hitting the guts. So since he's got a 120-pound gearhead crossbow, bears, as you saw, have ribs. What would you say, deer? They're about a third the size of those deer ribs. I mean, they're
Probably,
small.
yeah.
Yep.
They're not very big. So penetration's not a problem. Why not go big? Especially if you're going to aim back farther. Okay? So that's what he did. He shot it. It was high and forward, and it came back when we got it. See how it's bent like that? And it's missing whatever you call these front ones that open when it goes through there.
Yeah.
So we came when we actually dissected the bear, we actually saw on the backbone where the mediastinum, the membrane, covers up and attaches to the backbone. We saw a slice through there when you hit it.
Yeah. It.
But we never paid any attention to what it was. We saw this here, but again, it was late at night, didn't pay much attention. But then when I wanted to take these bones back, and Canada's not exactly friendly at taking body parts back. So I thought if I cooked these in the oven in Canada, it would actually be like taking cooked ribs home. The meat's all cooked there is what it was. So I did it. I took it back, and some of these they glued together, and my Bondo was still wet when I put it on there. But I'm going to show you what I found. So these are the ribs here. Okay, this is the front. This bad boy here. Oh, we got to get this thing to go here, Jay. I'm supposed to be Anatomy Hunter and have this all down here. I got to get it going here, right?
Do you want me
We'll
to
get it.
hold them?
We'll get. There we go. What do you know?
Hey.
The pieces of the puzzle fit if you fit them together right. Okay, now watch this. Now these here are all ball and sockets right here. See these joints there? Your ribs are actually a ball and socket joint. Can you believe that they're not fixed? Each one's a ball and socket.
Oh,
Daniel,
for breathing.
your guy's brother-in-law,
Yep.
he dislocates his ribs on his back. Okay. So what I did
wild.
is when we found this, when we were cleaning it, I gotta take it. Let me take it on this side to show it.
Yeah.
On this rib here, I'll show you guys for the camera. Okay, that rib is cut clean. Okay, it's cut clean. And if you go back and watch the anatomy video, which if you watch it, you'll see where you came in. You would hit the backbone if you'd have went straight in, but you came through it. That was cut. And I cooked. And if I wouldn't have cooked this up there in the oven, took it apart, and I don't know if I didn't see it till I got home, when I maybe boiled these the rest of the way or whatever I did.
Maybe.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at that slice right there.
I see it.
Look at that slice, Jay.
So that shear off part of the
Jay,
rib.
look at it. Cut the rib right off. But look at where this is bent. Now you guys tell me, because now we've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
These blades go in like this.
Yep.
They open up afterwards.
Yep.
The backbone where you hit them did not have a lot of space. We measured on the dead bear. My finger went in this far. I could stick it in this far, and I could feel where that rib was cut. I could feel that. That was sharp in my finger. So that blade had to open up, because for that blade to bend, this is my hypothesis, which I think it's pretty. Look at how this fits in there. See where the bend is right there?
Yep. Yep.
Look at how perfect that is.
Yeah, it looks right.
Look at that, how that went through there like that. Now here's the part when you drop them, you shoot them in the back and you drop them.
Yeah.
Well, that's the spinal cord.
So
But the spinal cord sits on the vertebrae on the top of it.
So I'm
You
wondering-
hit, which would have been like this, but you're angled down. So you cut it just like that. But now, that to me is just so cool. And we just about threw this away.
Yeah.
And I cut this off right here if I would have cut this one back farther. But now,
That
because I
really
want to know
shows it.
what bent that, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
Now, look at when we open that up, how we have that, Jay, to show that. Isn't that wild?
So do you think maybe it hit there and that pulled it back?
Well, you guys take a look at it now. And when it comes to all the mechanics and all the science, because I was almost thinking, you guys think it was quartering on that 45-degree angle. Did your arrow deflect? That's how come I want us to really look at the video and see, did the arrow deflect and go backwards? Or was it at that angle? You certainly hit bone. Now, the other thing is, if I owned Schwacker broadheads, to see how that held up, 120 pounds, hitting that bone, for that blade to hold up and bend like that and not break,
Well, it's
I think that's very
well,
impressive.
it's actually good that it bent.
Yes.
If this blade would have been like a higher Rockwell, it would have broke off. It's just
Which
because-
is why my blades that are such high quality, they can break off.
Right.
There's another side
right.
to the coin.
Yeah. So if you have too high of a Rockwell, they'll break instead of bend. In this situation, it's good that it bent. It kept your momentum going through the bear. It severed a rib.
And I tried to shave with that yesterday, the good blade,
Well,
and
looks
I
like
got
you did
one
good.
little hair that I still got with it, so I'm shocked. Yeah, I don't believe it's near the quality. It's near the quality of the Exodus, but like you said, you're giving up something.
Yep.
So
Daryl gave me a date because
So
I
you
gave him a
did,
date.
you
I'll
did.
come there a day later. I don't know what it was, but I caught it.
So this jawline, you're saying it's from a Schwacker broadhead on that
My
jawline.
jawline?
Not a hair
That's
left.
unbelievable how you
Well,
did that.
I don't know if I could do this good a job.
So do you think that the shot was a bank shot where it hit that and kicked down, or do you think it went straight through?
You know, Jay, and all this stuff, Doris and I to this day go back to your mom, and all these videos, like I was telling Jeff, Jeff's on the camera now. When I see these videos and I give you my judgment, I'm wrong most of the time. Jacob just filmed a bear hunt on Jim Bender's bear hunt.
Yep.
I talked to Randy about it, and he asked me, where do you think he hit it? Now, I knew he hit it, it ran, and they heard the death moan, so I knew he double lunged it, right?
Yeah.
But he asked me, Dad, where do you think he hit it by the video? I said he went above. He went too far forward, and he went above the lungs, above the backbone. That's what I said. Randy said he made a good shot. It was below there. It was a great shot. Jacob said he hit the scapula, which I haven't seen. I haven't got to watch all of it yet.
Yeah.
But on the video, it looked way high. So I asked Randy, this is duck hunt last Saturday, how does the video show, and our great camera, the green light, right there where he hit it with the gearhead crossbow, high, and it turned out it was lower. How can that be? And Randy's scientific answer was brilliant. I don't know. But I guess the shot was not that high, Jacob? Was it?
So yeah, what it had determined from on the entry side, it did hit the lung on the entry side high, but then on the exit side, it came out in the middle of the lung on the exit
So
lung.
it was a high shot.
Yep, and it was about an inch and a half from the heart.
Above
So-
it.
Yep, above the heart. And to this day, I wonder because he actually used a fixed broadhead. It wasn't a Schwacker. It was a fixed broadhead because it was a last minute decision too. As
I
far
believe
as which-
Randy gave him an Exodus, I think.
it was actually what Daryl would have supplied with. It was one of those. So there was either the fixed Schwacker or there was the mechanical Schwacker, or it was the fixed broadhead.
Well, the only fixed broadheads I have out there is the Thunderhead 125s.
Yeah,
I
but
think it was the Exodus.
there was two. There was a set of the mechanicals, and then there was a set of the fixed broadhead. And he must have got them all when he met up with you, I believe.
I didn't give him any fixed blades.
Maybe they were ones that he
I think
got.
Randy got
I
it.
didn't give
Oh,
him any,
okay.
I didn't give him any heads.
Randy gave it.
Okay. So yeah, it was between one or the other, and so he used that. So I still wonder to this day because we did save the scapula, and there's
Yeah, I wanna see
probably
that.
it's probably as far as in depth. There's still meat on it. It'd have to get boiled, but going down from the top view of the scapula, it's probably about that much missing, and it's probably about that wide.
Oh, he took a chunk of the scapula out?
Chunk of the scapula, yep. So, because at the angle you do look, he's teasing at it. I mean, for him to hit just on the edge about that far. So what I wonder more so is the fact that he did hit the scapula. Did that cause it by any means
To
to
deflect?
deflect, to kill its
So
momentum?
what do you think on this, Daryl? What do you think about that there and it deflecting and hitting that bone? What do you glean out of it? Do you think I put it in there was the way it is? It's pretty obvious.
Absolutely.
Now, what about how they open up at? Because I was wondering, the part that broke off, when it went in, somehow that had to hit something to break off. So that had to hit a rib. And then that rib is cut there.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that, because I remember, Jay, I put my finger in there. That's my great measure. So I went in there and I felt that sharp where it was cut.
Yeah. On that one.
Yeah, on yours, because the Schwacker goes in small,
Right.
and it opens up once it's in there. So that the small part, that little wing that sticks out,
Yep.
that's busted off. So you know that hit bone.
That hit something really hard. going in.
But it had to have hit before the backbone. It would
Right.
have had to have hit the rib going in, or it could have all hit that backbone and all, what do you call it when it turns over? What's the process, Joe? When it hits it and it unfolds, or what do you call that? When it opens
Deploys.
up, when it deploys. Could that have all happened at that exact same time?
Could've.
That part hit it, it deployed it, and it flipped right around. And could have that all deflected the arrow backwards?
Yeah, that's possible. Where it looks like it's a 45, because when looking
Yeah,
at the
that's shocking.
video, it looks 100% broadside to me.
It does to you too.
Yeah, looking at that video, it looks 100%.
And yet it's
broadside.
45. We ran a square right over the top.
So this could have hit the backbone and then drove the arrow 45 the other direction.
You know what worked out beautiful for me is with Bernie, when we went up there, our goal was to hit the middle of the middle.
Yeah,
And even though we couldn't inflate the lungs, you came out in the middle of the middle,
yeah.
what we wanted. And you could see that you had that much uninflated lung behind it on top that was still there to go. So that gives me some evidence, Jeff, going forward with why I need numerous kills showing different things, which is why
That's
I want to get a bunch this spring.
That's why I'm wondering if it hit and it actually kicked the arrow down a little bit.
Well, I'm
I
wondering,
mean, it was a steeper angle.
did all of this thing go forward and hit it and open up? All of that at the same place. That hit opened up and then that hit went through.
And this is the top side?
Yeah, right. You see how that CJ, that had to go forward. That did something solid to break it. And a rib probably wouldn't have done it.
Did it break here? Did that
No,
cut
that's
there?
glue. Those are just marks that when I
I
took it
mean,
apart and
this
boiled it.
this groove there, is that normal?
Yep, it is. This
Okay.
looks like what you hit. And a rib is not going to break that.
Right. Yeah.
When you hit that back one, that is solid.
So if it hit here initially, how would that blade be wide? Oh, wow, look at that. See that? See the width on that?
Could that have cut it? But here's the deal. This thing's got to deploy then backwards, Daryl.
Yeah.
So that's the dull side in doing all that. So I
I'm wondering.
don't quite.
So it hits here.
But see that if that's the case and it hits there and then this opens up,
Yep.
this would be through here like
Right.
this before it did it, and then it wouldn't have bent.
But what about the depth on that cut? Is it possible that this? See the depth there? See how wide that is? It only goes to the width of that nub.
Okay, I would say that would be a good theory. You cut it with that, except that blade is bent.
Is it possible it bent on something else?
No.
Well, how is
Somehow
that?
I don't know, but it's all the whole story's got to be told there.
But what
we'll
I
take
don't
this
get
to
is,
the ATA, by the way, Jay, if you're there.
Yeah.
We show that to a bunch of people.
what I don't
That
get
would be
is,
a good
is the
question.
cut is if you look at if we put that there,
That fits perfect.
it fits like perfect.
Okay.
And if
I
you go in
gotcha.
here, the only depth. So I see your point there, but I'm just wondering where the blade would have to go. This would have to back out for this blade to cut there because
Yeah,
it hits
I agree,
there.
I agree.
By the time it flies through, it goes like this.
I agree.
So it would kick. The only thing I wonder is if this wing caught something else, like on the tip, in it. But no, it'd be great to talk to an art, like a
Well, here's the neat
broadhead
thing.
expert.
We're going to have this bad boy at the ATA this year. Unfortunately, we're going to be talking to so many people about so many things.
and
But this would be a thing to show the
Here's the
audience.
theory.
See.
Yeah.
Okay, so this arrow is flying towards your bear, and it hits. These deploy. This obviously got hung up on something. This side it didn't get hung up. So this being stopped is going to make the arrow want to go like that.
Yep.
Because it's coming into an area that's stopping it, and then the momentum is going to make it turn.
Which another thing to say about your crossbow, Daryl, is if it would have been my bow at 55 pounds
Yeah.
with my Exodus broadhead,
Yeah.
it would have went whack.
And
The
bear
would have
just-
ran away with the arrow sticking out that far. He would have lived, and I'd have never got him.
Right.
So having that broadhead and having that crossbow
Yep.
put that bear down.
All right. This has been another episode of the Anatomy Hunter with Brian Johnson and his two boys. Stay tuned next week for more Anatomy Hunter.